Chapel's made up of little pieces of pottery, shells. Looks like it's in pretty good condition, but there must be more work that needs done than what's visible, huh?
It never stops.
Oh.
The work, but no, to be fair, the chapel is now restored. It's not going to fall down anymore.
Oh, that's good.
But 3 years ago, seriously, it was way down the hill.
Wow.
It was a huge, whatever, there's no roof, nothing.
The roof, there was
was completely.
no, it was leaking.
A big crack right through the middle.
Oh, wow. Just keeps going.
Oh, this is the way out.
Oh, it's a way out. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, that way people can just pass right on through.
Yeah, got a place, isn't it?
Wow, amazing. Who would have thought?
This way. Yeah, come. Just sit there.
Now this chapel has like 3 stories to it. Amazing. You start in the top and you work your way down and come out the bottom. What a unique, interesting little place. Definitely has Catholic overtones. And here are notice wild fuchsias growing. I guess they're wild. I don't know if they're native here or not, but they've been planted, so maybe they're not native. So we've just come into Blarney Castle area. We're walking down the path to the famous Blarney Castle. These are the gardens. There's a beautiful stream here that flows toward the castle. The castle was built in the 1400s, so it's not real old. Well, it's old, not compared to some castles. And beautiful gardens around the castle. And there it is from a distance. And we're heading up the path toward the famous Blarney Castle. This is the Blarney River. Going over the bridge now. There's beautiful gardens around this and an arboretum around the castle. We're moving into that direction right now. All right, we're coming up onto the castle. And actually have a bagpiper there doing his bagpiping thing. That's kind of cool. Here's the River Blarney again. The Blarney River, I'm not sure which it is. I'm going over the bridge. Really lush and green around here. Very beautiful. The flowers are blooming. Really beautiful. All kinds of maples, and, birches. A lot of trees I recognize around here. There's the castle, looking up at it. It looks like it's about, I don't know, 150 feet tall. This is the watchkeeper's tower. You can see the beautiful view of the streams in the background. The way up to the castle. And a long line for people who want to go get the germs on their lips from kissing the stone, which doesn't interest me too much. So this is the castle, and the Blarney stone is actually right up there. The middle of the top parapet, right in the center of the screen, that's the Blarney stone. There's people up there kissing it, and this is the line to get up there. It's like an hour to get up there. It's like, you know, I don't think so. I don't care about kissing the stone. I want to get up to the top of the castle, but to get up there you have to stand in line, so I think we'll pass. Here's the line to get up to the Blarney stone. We've come around the back side of the castle. And right up there, as you can see people kissing the stone. Looking up here, and there they are. If I can zoom in a little bit. That's it right there. Bending over backwards. There's a guy bending over backwards right now. There's a guy right now. Somebody with a hoodie on. They're gonna bend over backwards. Kiss it. I hope they wipe the stone. There they go. There's a guy. Here we are walking around the back of the castle, and we're going to step up on the battlements on the side of the castle. There's a parapet there. Of course, this goes up. The castle's up there. Step up on the battlement and look through the parapet. Oh yeah, good view. Lovely view down there. There's that. These are very ancient stones. They have ferns and succulents growing out of them. Look at this, on this parapet. Life growing out of the rocks. I'm looking through the parapet and looking down on the Irish countryside. There's some nice gardens down here too. Castle gardens. Very lovely. And there's my Queen Sandy. The Blarney Castle. It's not her castle to be queen over, but she's a queen over her own castle. There she is there. Another picture of the battlement. And now I'm gonna, there's the parapet and there's the castle. When we go inside of the battlement, this is like a tower here. And you can see the holes in the wall where the archers would have shot out their arrows. Or could fired their guns. This is part of the walled gardens at Powerscourt. This is the biggest beech tree I've ever seen. I don't know what kind it is, but so this is the Japanese gardens in Powerscourt, built in the early 1900s. Kind of an English version of Japanese gardening, containing the main elements of a Japanese garden, but with an English twist. So, interesting. It in itself is an arboretum of all different kinds of plants from various places, including palm trees, which may or may not be a good representation of a true Japanese garden, but it's certainly a beautiful attempt at such. Another view of the Japanese garden at Powerscourt from a different angle. And here's a view of the Roman gardens below the city wall. So these artifacts have been discovered in the excavations and archaeological diggings in Chester and have all been placed here. These are all Roman ruins that have been discovered and then collected and placed in this area. So here we see Roman and Norman and medieval, Middle Age wall, and then above that Tudor style half wood going back to the 13 to 1600s, I suppose, somewhere in there. These are remnants of the Roman baths. So we're on the north coast of Northern Ireland, and in the distance, on the horizon, is Scotland. I'll zoom in on it right there. There are more sheep in Northern Ireland than there are people. 1.8 million people. We're in Northern Ireland. This is the Antrim coast. The northeast coast of Northern Ireland. This is the bay we're coming into, where the Giant's Causeway is. There is apparently about 40,000 of these columns, these basalt columns. Most of them are 6-sided, some of them are 8-sided. So we just had lunch at this restaurant, the Rob Roy Hotel. I'm just going to pan around and just give you an idea of the Scottish Highland countryside. It looks a lot like the Willamette Valley, especially in the rolling hills, or the foothills of the adjoining mountains. And it's foggy and it's been raining all day today, so I feel right at home. And we're about 25 miles from Glasgow, as you can see that sign says. A lot of maple trees, oak trees. I haven't had a chance to get out and look at the trees, what the conifers are. Cattle and sheep everywhere. Birch trees. I see some spruce trees. So we are here at Loch Lomond in the Highlands of Scotland. We're about ready to take a cruise on the boat. We're on a cruise boat here, and we're going to take a cruise on this lake, Loch Lomond. And we pulled into Greenock, which is just downriver from Glasgow this morning. And then we jumped on a motor coach and have made our way from the lowlands up to the highlands, where we are about to go for a short little cruise on this lake. It's a wonderful day. Feel right at home. Drizzling, cloudy, but still beautiful. And as they say here, today's rain is tomorrow's whiskey. Cruising on Loch Lomond, the Highlands of Scotland. Misty and foggy, but beautiful, charming nonetheless. So we're walking down to what's called the Salmon Leap at the Falls of Shin here in the Scottish Highlands. The Atlantic salmon spawn up the stream here, and this apparently there have been sightings of them already. See any salmon? No?
Beautiful though.
Yeah, all right. Here we have a beautiful view of the rocks and the moss and the heather and the lichens and the trees, and the lot of native birch trees. I'm seeing a lot of birch trees, hazel, and the only two conifers that are native to Scotland are the tamarack or larch, and then the Scotch pine. You see a Scotch pine perched up there on the cliff, right there. And they grow a lot of Sitka spruce, which were brought in from Pacific Northwest in Canada. And but they are not an indigenous species of conifer. But they do very well here, and they're logged. Whole forests of them. They were brought in after World War II. Here's a close-up of the heather that isn't blooming yet. And then against the backdrop of the heather, or the backdrop of the heather is there's willows here, birches. There's a willow and birch, and I've seen also a lot of mountain ash, sorbus, and then here we have a forest of Scotch pine, native Scotch pine, Pinus sylvestris. Of course, you have Scotch broom blooming. I've seen nettles and fireweed. Here's some Sitka spruce, which is not native. It's nestled down in here. There's some. And lots of Scotch broom. And then a similar variety of, or another plant similar to Scotch broom called gorch, which has yellow flowers blooming now. And then there's larch also. There's a larch tree right in there. And there is a larch. And then here's a sorbus, or a mountain ash right here. And huckleberry. Here's a birch up close. You can see the bark. A lot of bracken fern. It's all over the place. And we have a lot of the same plants in Oregon, Western Oregon, that they do here. And then of course buttercup, daisies, little daisies. Mountain goats up there. Right in the middle. More Scottish Highland and sheep. Green, rolling hills, farms. Welcome to Dunrobin Castle, which dates, the earliest parts date from the 13th century and has been added onto, and was the home of the Duke of Sutherland, the Dukes of Sutherland, who owned all the land around here and still maintain possession of the castle.
Take the hood off and his eyes are going to adjust instantly to the light. Let me get down here. And he's ready to go, I can see.
Wow.
He's 13 years old and he's in tip-top condition.
Peregrine falcon, fastest bird and animal in the world. They can dive at 245 miles per hour.
He's really hanging on to that for dear life. Same as the falcon. This food is quite hard won, and this is going to help him go flying and survive tomorrow.
This is a hawk. The previous one was a falcon. This is
Down through Arizona, Mexico, and into Peru.
is the back of the Holyrood Castle. The Queen of England lives here for a week in the month of July every year. These are the gardens of Holyrood Castle. They are the remnants of an original monastic garden from the abbey that was here, the monastery that was here, that was built in the 1100s for the monks. It was their personal garden, vegetables and medicinal herbs, and then now it's a royal garden. Has been ever since it has been a Holyrood has been a castle since the 1500s.